Hi and welcome to World of... and part 9 of my Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake comparison and review.
No way.
Here you are. Letters from Andrea Rodea and Madam M. That ought to do the trick, right?
You serious?
Is there a problem?
I hope you know what you're in for.
Oh, we'll be fine.
If you say so. Come on.
This time we are off to Don Corneo's mansion to find out why Tifa's gone there, and also then to find out which out of Tifa, Cloud or Aerith is going to be chosen as Don Corneo's bride, at least for the evening. The entrance to the Don's mansion expanded a little bit in the remake, but as we enter the original in a moment, take a note of the Japanese writings above each door and in the main hall. We'll then see that even those have been accurately replicated in the remake, and a couple of written characters have even made it clearer. It's just great attention to detail once again. The original makes things a bit simpler, as we're left to just roam around the mansion, as is a way for an RPG of course, but keep an eye out around the room above the doors as we pass through, and as with Aerith's house, marvel at the overall replication of this building. Tremendous again. Certainly we see the more jovial feel of this section in the original, the music almost jaunty, replaced by a more accurate depiction of such a place in the remake. The tremendous upgrading really is the remake's forte, I would say, in every little part of the original game. They've taken it, tweaked it, and made it look and feel amazing. In both games, all other rooms are inaccessible at the moment. And Cloud certainly seems to have made an impression with Corneo's lackeys. As we move on though, the two games diverge again a little bit. In the original, we simply have to make our way down the stairs ourselves into the cellar. Well, clearly sex dungeon, maybe more appropriate, and you maybe note that little manacle man in the middle. We find Tifa, but Cloud is too self-conscious to talk to her. Rather amusingly hides himself away and allows Aerith to do the explaining. The two women meet for the first time, and although dismissed in a moment by Tifa, I think the dialogue here clearly shows signs of jealousy from her, and that's something I think that's played on throughout the story. As I said, Tifa confirms them just to be old friends, but in both games it seems she may be kidding herself. However, in the remake, things take a more sinister turn. Well, more sinister than a creepy Sleazetown owner choosing one of the three of us to do God knows what to. But even the music here, I feel, takes a more sinister turn. And we see that Don Corneo isn't above using gas to make his brides more compliant.
Why do I feel so dizzy?
Gas. Come on. Damn it.
Cloud.
So, how you pretty ladies doing? Feeling a little lightheaded? So we can't have that. Let's say we escort you to the parlor, so you can make yourself more comfortable. Let's get this show on the road.
Where are you taking us?
Where they're taking us is to the creepy sex dungeon that we saw in the original moments ago for our remake reunion with Tifa.
Tifa?
Yes?
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
She's clearly unsure as to who this is still.
Good.
Wait a minute. Cloud? Is that you? Oh my god, that makeup and that dress!
Nailed it. I know. Thank you. Moving on.
The whole scene is great, but I do love Cloud's nailed it line there. It's
You
one of
good?
the best lines in the remake, I think.
I'll manage. Hey Tifa, how you doing? Okay. Oh, right. I'm Aerith, a friend of Cloud's. We were worried and thought we'd come help you out.
Thanks.
Tifa's confused over who Aerith is in both games, and as I mentioned, clearly there is a jealousy in the air. While I like Tifa's jumping reaction there, it again points to the ways that the makers found to impart actual emotion and feeling in such low resolution characters. We'll see a little bit more of that once we meet Don Corneo. So, Cloud wants to know why and how Tifa is wound up at Don Corneo's mansion. If you recall that they last saw each other, I think it was towards the end of part 6 of my series, when Cloud fell from the bridge after the boss battle at Reactor 5 with the Airbuster. It's explained that following some quizzing by some shifty associates of Don Corneo, that they had been on the lookout for someone who bore a striking resemblance to Barrett, and Tifa's decided to come and investigate why Corneo's involved in this. So you may have noticed Denzel being mentioned in these scenes in the original. It's actually my name for Barrett in the original game. And when playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time and it came to naming the characters, I'd obviously chosen Rusty for Cloud as my own name is Russell. But when the choice for Barrett came up, I wasn't really too sure what to do. I didn't know any black people personally at the time. So I went to TV and I took the name of the first black person I could think of from things I watched, and that was Denzel from the TV show Only Fools and Horses. So just to clear any confusion there. As talk of the mission resumes, we see something that's prevalent in both games here as we progress. Although there clearly is some kind of love triangle between the three, we often do see Tifa and Aerith pair off like that and verbally team up against Cloud to get one over on him. So we've now been summoned by Don Corneo, and it's the moment of truth to see who will catch his eye. We're actually going to diverge a little again, as there are various ways that things could go. If either Tifa or Aerith are chosen, then Cloud has to go off with the other one and face some challenges as we'll see. If Cloud is chosen, then we see a short scene with Don Corneo while the two ladies presumably kick ass and then come and get us. I've got it with two of these options coming up just to show the different scenes we can see. If you want to see more of them, you need to go play the game. As we peel back to see how the remake handles the sex dungeon, it's again very well recreated with an added manacle man on the wall behind Cloud and Aerith there, which I thought would make quite a good poster for the game. There was one of those in the centre of the room in both games, but that one clearly on the original's camera wall, so we would have missed it. Don Corneo clearly into some freaky shit, and when we meet him in a moment, especially in the remake, that won't maybe seem so surprising. So even the ascension from the cellar is expanded upon, and rather than the simple flight of stairs, there's a few added seconds squeezed out, and from there
time to line up for the dawn.
we come straight into Don Corneo's office. Watch there, one of the hosts from the Colosseum battles.
We haven't met before, have we?
Doesn't quite recognise Cloud and Aerith from the Colosseum, but especially Aerith, I'm not quite sure how he's missing that.
Alright!
But on we go.
Y'all good to go? Then let's do this thing. Introducing Wall Market's most eligible bachelor, the one and only Don Corneo. Ladies?
Oh, hello, Mr. Creepy.
Nice. Very nice. Whichever one shall I pick?
I think it's worth noting the sinister music there and the difference which the original continues the kind of jaunty tune. Cloud there shifting his head there so that we can't, Dawn can't actually get a good look at him, so that he's not giving the game away. But something worth noting there is that Aerith and Cloud's positions have been changed from the original to the remake. And given the amount of attention to detail that's gone into the remake, I can only think that there must be some kind of reason behind these switches, which I presume we'll see later. Maybe I'm looking too deep into things, but time will tell. So in the original, the Dawn has chosen Aerith to be his bride, to which she gave a great retort, which goes to show, I think, a steelier side to her character. and Cloud and Tifa now left to the whims and desires of Don Corneo's lackeys. And as we'll see, the whole scene is turned up to 11 in the remake, and he is a very uncomfortable character. In line with my Bill Paxton Mookie comparisons in the last video, can't really see past somebody like Mike Myers playing the Don.
Oh yeah! I've got it! I've got it!
I don't want to know what he's got.
Today's?
And tomorrow's, or the day after's, if the Don takes a shine to you.
Pathetic.
Huh? Hey, which one of you said that? Was it you? Ooh, you got a mouth on you. I'm gonna enjoy breaking it in. Today's lucky lady is the big bone girl. Huh? Still playing hard to get? I can dig it. Oh yeah. The leftovers are all yours. Yeah!
Okay, ladies. Y'all coming with me.
So, as we flick back to the original, this is the only way to see this room, as if you were chosen as the character by the Don. I don't think we don't get a chance to see this room. What follows is a rather amusing scene with clearly horny lackeys following Claudette about the room in a somewhat zombie-like state to try and get their hands on him. The remake doesn't shy away from a scene which effectively is hinting at gang rape for Cloud, Tifa or Aerith, but as we'll see, it does lose this comedic aspect, I would say. You can run around being chased like this for as long as you want, but eventually you must go and speak to Scotch, and this allows us the opportunity to transform back into ourselves. In a very amusing manner, it has to be said. Bit Wonder Womanish perhaps, we'll fight on. So a much more serious sounding situation here, but the girls take care of it after some innuendo.
Courtesy of the ever-generous Don Corneo himself. Never forget, the Don provides.
Yeah. So, ladies, ready to get to it?
Yeah. I guess I'm good to go whenever. How about you, Tifa?
4 guys between us. Okay, let's not keep Cloud waiting.
Right.
Wait. I know you. The Colosseum.
Too late for him, Scotch recognises Aerith, and it's time for a good old kick in the nuts as the ladies clear house.
Good job, Eric.
It was nothing compared to you.
So Aerith and Tifa making short work of these creeps, and after congratulating each other, they initially think that they've got another enemy to overcome. However, it's Leslie who we met at the main door outside,
I come bearing gifts with you.
and he seems to have turned to our side. We'll find out his reasons for doing so later on in the remake.
Thank you.
And now we move on to the remake's Cloud and Corneo bedroom scene.
Don't be shy, little kitten. Shimmy on over and give Daddy some sugar. No need to play coy. Nobody here but you and me. Oh, you're even cuter than I thought.
Back off.
Ooh! This kitten's got claws. I love it.
What was that?
Don't you worry your pretty little head. Just a picture to preserve the moment. And to ensure you don't do anything inappropriate like say no.
Asshole.
Oh, praise me more!
We have another short spell in control of Aerith, and this time we get to kind of wander around the house a little, take on some of the lackeys in battle, and Leslie there.
Man, I'd love to spend some quality time.
What are you doing here? Ain't you two the rejects?
Rejects. Nice.
Lend me your strength. Moving on then.
Again, every aspect of the mansion recreated so well, though worth noting that there is an additional little corridor here and there between rooms. In the original, we emerged from kicking Lackey ass to find Tifa, or Aerith depending on the results earlier, has now gotten changed, and we're going to head on and save whichever girl had been chosen.
Don't stop! Tell me what a bad boy I am! Yes, yes I am! Here I come, baby!
In my remake playthrough, we are the other girl, and an amusing, if a little uncomfortable scene progresses.
One of you get in here and teach this bitch some manners!
Sorry, but your boys had to learn some manners too.
What the?
Cloud, your clothes.
The remake allowing for a bit more realism in how we get changed rather than our Wonder Woman spin earlier. The Don now aghast at who he's been propositioning.
So you're a man, huh? What are you three up to?
We'll ask the questions.
And this moves us into another great example of the two games' alignment, albeit with some subtle differences. The dialogue is very similar in both, but as we see in the original, we are threatening to, it would seem, hurt his dick, as it's referencing chopping it or ripping it off. All three of the protagonists taking turns at threatening his nether regions to obtain information. As we switch to the remake in a moment, note that the dialogue is changed to represent, it would seem, his balls, as we threaten to cut, rip and smash them. Either a conscious change, or maybe more likely a further example of the translation failing and assumptions perhaps being made in 1997.
Public Security, Heidegger! It was Heidegger!
Shinra! And what were they planning?
Some things are better left unsaid, you know?
See, I'm not so sure they are. Better keep talking.
Or I'll smash them.
As we see, even that movement from Tifa there mirrored by placing her foot on the bed. Although all characters do remain at the foot of the bed in the remake, we need to move around their post-threat in the original. Our threats, though, reveal the horrific plan that Shinra has. They do plan to destroy the supporting pillar for Sector 7's plate in Midgar, and thus collapsing that section and destroying the rebellious avalanche, but also the innocent residents of Sector 7 slums. This is of course met with shock by Tifa, who immediately asks for Cloud's assistance. And as we head off, the original gives us a small moment and a chance to search the Don's bedroom. Given what we've seen in the remake, I don't think I'd like to see what I would find there, but in the original, simply a little hyper. But before we can exit the room, the Don has a question for us, which both games give us roughly the same three options to respond with. As I pondered which option to take, the correct one, well, correct, is it was both that they think they've already won. The remake times me out here and simply moves us on to our unavoidable fate.
The answer lies in the sewers. Enjoy the sights and smells!
Before we can see that though, both games give us a nice scene of exposition at the Shinra HQ. This all lays bare and confirms the plans for Sector 7 as being a deliberate ploy on their part, but also that they will blame the attack on Avalanche, thus killing two birds and a shit ton of people with one very large stone. Worth noting Reeve 2SD here and his dismay and pleading, as not to give too much away, but this gives hints to later major story points and something I wonder probably be given its own chapter in the remake at some point, I would suggest. Heidegger clearly having no such misgivings, and making it clear to Reeve in somewhat hilarious fashion that he just doesn't give a shit. He's someone I feel quite changed in the remake. Although his dialogue and his attitude remains, I've always found him a more amusing character in the original, probably due to the graphics, but he certainly made a much more serious man in the remake.
Asking you to reconsider. No, begging. The Sector 7 Undercity is home to more than 50,000...
Director Twisty.
At least let us issue a warning, sir.
The stench of the director's cowardice fills the room yet again.
Reeve. Progress requires sacrifice. Learn to live with it.
So Reeve invited here in the original to take a leave of absence, and clearly the view from Shinra across both games is, if you don't like it, there's the door. As we rejoin our heroes in the sewers, we awaken and again see the area greatly and beautifully enhanced from its counterpart, and I'll come back to the differences in this whole area shortly. But as Cloud stands here, the love triangle and choice between the ladies is made abundantly clear with that shot, I think. And in the original we face essentially the same situation, but I've chosen Aerith first here, which is another point in the Gold Saucer date selections, but in the remake I went to Tifa first of all. I don't know what outcomes that may have.
Cloud. We have to get back to the slums right now.
Yeah.
I didn't want to drag Aerith into all this.
She'll understand.
How do you two know each other?
I saved her. She saved me. Round and round it goes.
And that's all there is to it. Sure there isn't something else going on?
So again, despite her previous statements that it's no such thing, it's clear that Tifa does have some jealousy issues. So in the original, Aerith puts her foot in her mouth a bit there as we hear the roar of Don Corneo's pet, Abzu. As the boss battle begins, we'll see how the remake has realised Abzu, and again it's absolutely spectacular.
Good to go?
You bet! Bring it on!
Some slight alterations to the battle, not just obviously the style, but in the fact that we can actually make independent targets of the horns, and if we take those out, making the boss a wee bit easier to defeat. There's quite a lot of that in the remake, and we do a little bit of assessing Chadley there. So the fight comes to an end in the usual fashion in the original, but as we'll see, the remake gives Abzu a final bit of action as in its stunned but not dead state, it conveniently smashes us an exit route out of this area.
There it goes.
Do you think it lives down here, or...?
It was probably Corneo's pet. And we were dinner.
Hey,
Bit of a
you
weird
don't
noise there.
believe that crazy story of his, do you? Shinra wouldn't sacrifice a whole sector just to take out Avalanche, would they? Destroying part of the city, killing all those people just to get at us?
I don't know. Is Corneo the kind of guy who'd make up shit just to screw with you?
I wouldn't put it past him.
But if he was telling the truth, and there's still a chance he was, isn't there? Then we should go. And if it turns out he was lying, then so what, right?
So as our team debate the truth of Don Corneo's warnings, we come to a section I wanted to highlight as we see the full scope of the timing differences between the two games. I've mentioned this I think in the first video or two of the series, but this screen and the next one in the original, I've timed it here to be roughly 36 seconds, and the reason for that to traverse it, and you can do it in that time, maybe even quicker, and this brings us out to the train graveyard, but the remake really goes down a further path with this journey. We drop into the second screen, and worth noting the surrounding area, you'll see the likes of the pipes and railings brought up to date in the remake. However, as I said, 36 seconds there on the original, but here I'll give you a wee behind the scenes glimpse of making these videos, and as you can see, 3 videos selected there, and they total in 36 minutes, which covers the exact same ground from sewer entrance to sewer exit as the 2 screens in the original. So the sewers entail a much wider map and area. Obviously there's a lot more to be done in the remake as well. Instead of simply moving on, we have a number of switches to open sluice gates and either raise or reduce the water levels. We head on, there's a lack of light and we need to address that. Have the power recharge the lights before a further task to lower the water, a large section of water near the exit.
But I can't imagine what it is. Destroying a whole chunk of the city just to get back at us doesn't make any kind of sense.
Yeah, I can't imagine any way they could profit from it. It's gonna cost them a fortune to rebuild.
Corneo's lying. He's got it.
So disbelief and perhaps maybe not a full understanding of the situation in their comments there. But a little variation on the tasks that we have to do here is that it brings up these floats here to allow us across, and it leads us to a couple of cutscenes which to me felt very similar, and I didn't really see the point in having 2 such similar parts, certainly the start of them being so close together, but see what you think.
Me too.
It's gotta be a trick. There's no way they'd go that far. But what if Corneo really was telling the truth? We have to get there in time to stop it. We have to.
Right.
It would seem Aerith really does know what's going on, but we're cut short.
Guys, come on. We gotta keep moving.
And I think that we exchange with Tifa and Aerith will be important to the story later.
Okay, Aerith. Your turn.
On my way. Here we go.
And I think a good example of
Almost there.
some of the unnecessary padding in the remake. Although the dialogue is very good in these sections,
Thanks, you saved me.
don't know how necessary these parts were.
Hear that, Cloud?
But some further bonding over taking the piss out of Cloud between the
Still
girls.
thinking about the plate?
And we then see a very similar scene to what we just saw with
The
Cloud,
future isn't
but
set in
it's him
stone.
that has to be saved rather than
That's
Aerith.
what I always tell myself.
Yeah. I hope you're right.
How about this then? Think of something fun. After saving Sector 7, you're gonna...
I'm gonna go shopping. Topside. I'll buy stuff for the bar, decorations, coasters.
Can I come?
You'd better.
Then
Aerith
it's a
seemed
date.
nicely added in there.
Cloud can carry all our stuff.
He'll be our pack chocobo.
What was that about me?
Nothing.
Huh?
Huh? No way!
Come on, Tifa! Cloud!
Sorry about that.
No need to be.
So we move on to the main sewer hub, but it's not as simple a task as just flipping this switch.
Guys, check it out. Seventh Heaven's water tank has something similar. I'm betting we can use this to control the sewage level.
Hey, Cloud. You...
This ought to drain the water. Right?
The system appears broken.
No luck?
Must be busted.
A red light indicates a blockage, apparently. We can use the hand pump to clear the blockage. Sounds about right. I remember having to do this at the bar before.
So,
That went
fixing this requires us to carry out a few of these tasks, hand pumping, which frankly is a bit of a pain in the arse at times. To explain, Tifa has to pump the pressure as you press X to build it up, and that increases the section of red. And the more you do, the larger the red area on the dial. Once you've done so, Aerith closes the other side, sending the needle back to the start swiftly, and our goal is to stop it in the red section. How that clears blockages, I'm not quite sure. However, it is very pernickety, and after the third or fourth one of those, each requiring 3 stoppages, you can be ready to launch your controller into the live stream. But I wanted to leave some instructions in for that, as I don't think the game explains it particularly well. So, with the final water barrier gone, it's now time to head on and escape the sewers into the train graveyard.
Nicely done.
We make a great team.
Go team!
However, first there are some, and I hope I'm saying this right, Sahagan to battle, which are these turtle type lads who you'll see in the original here. I do wonder if it's a kind of nod to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles having these turtles in the sewers. In the remake though, following the battles, we do get a nice cutscene, which I think is an exciting finale to chapter 10 of the remake.
Brace yourself. Hang back. I'll go on ahead and secure the exit.
And you note that lad is next to those pipes and things, which is exactly the same as the original.
We're not delicious. Not even a little bit.
Get going.
No. Okay.
You too.
But there's too many of them.
Not for me.
Hurry.
Last warning. Back off or die.
Come on!
As we ascend into the train graveyard, you would be forgiven for thinking that you're now past the extensions and any padding for this section of the remake, and it would be time to move on, as in the original, onto the pillar, and probably one of the most dramatic scenes in all of both games, but there is a further curveball and added material that we do need to face first.
Understood. The Avalanche mission's been approved. We ought to proceed as planned.
This is bullshit. What the hell are they thinking?
Threats to public order are to be summarily put down. This is what we've always done.
Summarily put down. Guess it's a little late to grow a conscience.
So Reno, despite his misgivings, happy to go on with the mission. And
Just on patrol.
Unfortunately, that's not the case, Cloud.
Don't worry, we'll make it in time.
And sadly, I don't think that'll be the case either. And we'll see why. In the original, the train graveyard, simply this one area, and we'll see next time the expansions to that, which is set up in the next remake scene.
It's deserted and kind of creepy.
People don't come around here often. Not just because of the monsters, but because of the stories.
What kind?
Everyone seems to think that the train graveyard is haunted. Those who lose their way out there in the dark of night will never, ever find their way back home again.
Is that right?
I mean, it's not like I think it's true or anything. But you know, it's just...
Then let's hurry.
And it's this ghostly action which we will see pulls us away from the rush to the pillar. But that's for next time. Part 10 is nearly ready, but for a taster of the action of the pillar battle, it inspired a little musical video that I was pulled to make, which you can find on my channel. It's Final Fantasy VII Remake music video. But for now, please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Cheers for now. Bye bye.